Hi, Kevin Sorbo here.
I'm Sam Sorbo.
That's right, my better half. But we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we?
We did. It's a comedy.
Hi, Kevin
for
Sorbo
families. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in 1930. You guys absolutely love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in 1930. You guys absolutely love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in 1930. You guys absolutely love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in 1930. You guys. Hi, Kevin Sorbo here.
I'm Sam Sorbo.
That's right, my better half. But we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we?
We did. It's a comedy.
Hi, Kevin
for
Sorbo here.
families. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set in we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle
Sorbo.
in Texas. True story set in we just did a wonderful movie. Hi, Kevin Sorbo here.
They go to sorbostudios.com.
We just did a wonderful movie, didn't we?
We did. It's a comedy.
Hi, Kevin Sorbo here.
I'm Sam Sorbo.
That's right. We just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com.
Hi, Kevin Sorbo here.
I'm Sam
Miracle
Sorbo.
in Texas. True story set we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle in
Sorbo.
Texas. True story set we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com. I'm Sam
Miracle
Sorbo.
in Texas. True story set we just did a wonderful movie, didn't we? Love it. Where do they go?
They go to sorbostudios.com.
We just did a wonderful movie, Texas. True story set we just did a wonderful movie. Hi, Kevin Sorbo here.
I'm Sam sorbostudios.com.
We just did a wonderful movie, didn't we?
It's a comedy.
Hey, what's up, guys? Well, this is the first of what has been lacking severely. I've been the first since I had started this channel. What you do in the GWAR Daddy. This is severely, stuff that I wanted to do, and I started this channel. Got so fixated on the Twitch and the YouTube. Stuff that I wanted to do. Excuse me, Twitch and the Rumble. Got so fixated on the Twitch. The YouTube that I wanted to do. What's up, guys? I neglected that, and yeah. So, anyways, basically, so I've been streaming five days a week, which is so. Anyways, basically, all I want to hear for now. 5 days a week, which is that's fixated on Twitch, YouTube. All I want. Wouldn't mind going adding stuff in the afternoon, but figuring out how to way to make that process oriented. Like everybody was really psyched about the afternoon, but figuring out how to way to make that process oriented. Everybody was really psyched about me doing stuff in the shop, and a lot of echo. I got rid of it. Salty baked Idahoan. But anyhow, so I want to get back to that, but I got to figure out a better system. It's bullshit to sit there and try to manipulate a camera when you working with polyfoam, glues going everywhere. That's just a bad environment for equipment. But especially equipment pointed towards, what you're working on. But I think I'll think of probably something like one of those remote cameras might be good. The ones that can actually follow you, So if I had one in a decent position and followed the swatch or whatever, maybe that'll help. Or just wearing a camera on my head. I don't know, some kind of GoPro deal. That's something else, though, I don't want to talk about anymore. What I do want to talk about to you is, I guess, basically just start talking about GWAR. I think a lot of people saw the documentary, and there's a lot of mixed feelings about it. I thought the biggest problem was that it's hour and a half, 2 hours trying to tell a 30-year story. And so when it came down to it, it felt like it was like, well, GWAR was something that was pretty cool, and then a bunch of dudes died, including the lead singer. The end. Well, like it doesn't really. If you wanted to have it be a tragic comedy, it didn't have the right ending. And if you wanted it to be a, I don't know, heartwarming, overcoming of adversity story, doesn't quite work either. Yeah, we miss Dave, says Dang. Yeah, well, GWAR misses Dave big time. And I can be happy to explain that, but and probably will somewhere down the road during this course of making these. But I plan to make this a regular Friday night. If it's not a regular Friday night, if I move it to a Thursday night, whatever, but it's going to be regular. It's going to be one night a week at the least, this sort of stuff. Because, GWAR is a story you can't tell. Woo, look at that camera jiggle. Jiggle the camera. Earthquake! Dun, dun, dun. Or Star Trek episode. Anyhow, yeah, you can't tell that story in just an hour and a half, 2 hours. Tragedy and all. And so I plan to get a lot of people, as many people as I can on this show. I just got back in contact with Dave Muscle, which was great because I haven't talked to that guy in years. And he's a underrated element of what made GWAR happen. A very underrated one. And hopefully, he's kind of a Luddite. Hopefully I can figure out a way to make him capable of understanding how to do a guest stream with me, right? But Danielle's totally on board. I've got Chuck, no problem. I think I can get Hunter. So, what? I like the look. Classic sleazy rocks the Casbah, but this is cool. Yeah, so I'm sure I can get quite a few old members, some really obscure ones. I'm sure, like the original lineup, like appears in this, this performance that we're going to watch tonight. And so I guess what we should do, I got the material necessary to lay the groundwork, or lay the the groundwork of how GWAR came together. And let me tell you, I plan to be as honest as possible. If I'm going to have Hunter on here, maybe he'll argue with me a little bit as far as origins, but make no mistake about it. It was him and Dave Brocky coming together really that drove the conceptualization of GWAR. I would not try taking that away from either of those guys, but for them, it's kind of like a peanut butter, chocolate. You got peanut butter in my chocolate. No, you got chocolate in my peanut butter situation, where neither of them would have been able to singularly come up with the concept by themselves. And weird as it is, GWAR has always been kind of bigger than any single person, I didn't know you were in VA. I just moved out of Richmond to Kansas, says Adam. Yeah, I've always been here. Been here since 1968. One way or another. Northern Virginia when I was for childhood, and Richmond area since then. All right. Anyways, so where was I? So yeah, GWAR was definitely a Dave Hunter mashup, and this right here, what we're going to watch, is the first show. Technically the first show. There was a couple of other shows where GWAR was just Death Piggy kind of playing a prank, opening for themselves in these kind of scumdog costumes here. And yeah, they were just kind of throwing these costumes on as Death Piggy, which is Russ Bohorsky and Sean Sumner on drums. And from there, they kind of transitioned into, well, after those two shows of Death Piggy, which I believe was Going Bananas and 930 Club, which is an infamous story where in 930 Club they, I think it was, oh, thanks for the contribution there, user not found. By the way, I can't take, I don't think I can take contributions or money very easily on YouTube. I might not be, that might not be available. So if you do want to contribute, I really would appreciate it, but you can do it on Rumble or Kick. That would be the way to do it. You could watch on Rumble or Kick. Yeah. Anywho, so after those two shows, which was really just Death Piggy putting on GWAR costumes, this is the first time that some sort of, it was an individual GWAR lineup was created. It's still Sean Sumner at drums, but Dave Brockie has moved over to guitar, and Chris Bopst has become the bassist, and let's see, oh, I think, and Steve Douglas plays, you know, the Bear Trap character, Bear Trap, Jaws, Ballsack, more or less. That's where that costume first appears on, and he's a guitarist. So he's the only guitarist that can play. Dave can just make noise, basically on guitar. I guess in rhythm, you know, within some sort of rhythm of the bass and guitar. Anyhow, and the lead singer in this show, the first lead singer, and Dave said he wanted to do this. He wanted to be the crappy guitarist. Lead singer was Ben. This guy Ben. Oh God, I forgot his last name. Crap. But Ben Eubank, excuse me. He's the lead singer, and so this is the first, I guess, really iteration of GWAR. You know, can't call the Death Piggy performances really GWAR. At least, you know, I would say so. Keeping that in mind, I've got it, let's see, I'm going to play it off my tabletop. And that way, let's see here. And that way I can stop it and start it and be irritating. Okay. Let's see here. Where is it? All right. Live show. Turn up the desktop audio. Put in my earphones. Turn up the desktop audio. Put in my earphones. Turn up the desktop audio. Put in my earphones. Turn up the desktop audio. Put in my earphones. Oh man, I'm stuck in the multiverse. Good start. Good start. Oh man, I'm stuck in the multiverse. Good start. Good start. Oh man, I'm stuck in the. I'll get rid of the echo. Just a second. Good start. Good start. Oh man, I'm stuck in the. I'll get rid of the echo. Just a second. Good start. Good start. Oh man, I'm stuck in the. I'll get rid of the echo. Just a second. Good start. Good start. Oh man, I'm stuck in the. I'll get rid of the echo. Just a second. Good start. Good start. Oh man, I'm stuck in the. I'll get rid of the echo. Just a second. Good start. There it is. All right. Sorry about that. Sorry about that. It's playing in both. It's good. Where's my, there it is. Let me shrinky dink myself way out of this. Shrinky dink. There we go. That's weird. Now it's kind of letterboxed. Let's see. So there's an ad at the front of this. Some interesting background on this. This is a. This was released by Michael Moore, and Michael Moore. Later on, he went and played some of the first iterations of Sleazy P. Martini, except his character was known as Sluggo P. Martini. Dave Brockie created this exploitational manager character, Sluggo P. Martini. And this guy, honestly, was kind of a tweaker. I think he's passed on now, so I'm not in too much trouble for saying that. But he was just so, he was just he wore a rainbow wig and wraparound white punk sunglasses. It was very right out of Party City, kind of bit he put together. So anyhow, I'm gonna blow myself a little more. He was the first Sluggo P. Martini, and the other guy was Tim Herman, was Sluggo P. Martini, and neither of them worked out. And so finally, I stepped in as the third iteration around '86, in time for the Schaefer Court show, which is the first Halloween show we did, where we kind of like really started feeling our oats, shall we say. So anyways, this guy, Michael Moore, played a Sluggo P. Martini, also videotaped and ended up owning this show. I don't know how he pulled that off. We weren't really paying attention, it feels like. It just ends up videotaping us, but he was friends with Hunter. I don't know what Hunter was thinking, But this guy ended up owning this and selling this for years, but he's got it. It's the first GWAR live show, for the most part. It's kind of cut up. I wish it'd be great to see all the raw footage, because, it's a great piece of history and comedy, more than it is a performance. Performances, as you will see if you haven't seen it already. And probably a lot of you are. I'm sure this is floating around on YouTube. It's horrible. It's pretty bad. But
ladies and gentlemen, I'm the only Johnny Slugman!
Let's see. Yeah, that's where it picks up. And the thing is, it breaks apart, and I think there's some Hello era GWAR that is in, that comes in, and then it goes back to this PB Kelly show. So bear with me on that. I'll just fast forward, I guess. Just stick with the same show.
Heard you just got in from Cleveland. Things pretty hot up there, aren't they? Yeah! So Johnny, heard you just got in from Cleveland. Things are pretty hot up there, aren't they? Yeah! just got in from? Where'd you just get in from, Johnny? Yeah. I think we've almost got the problem solved, ladies and gentlemen.
Right there. That was my first prop. Right there. Where'd it go? Good job, Don.
Solved, ladies and gentlemen.
You can see the embarrassment right there. He's trying to be in character, put out barbarian grunts, but I think he's just fucking frustrated. He thought I was going to start, no. So, yeah, there it is. The first prop I ever made. Using some sort of baby doll inverted with some sort of eye between its legs. It's all vaguely... Hunter was pushing this embryo thing. And I guess in the movie, it's kind of doubled as some sort of cardinal sin related iconography. But yeah, I made it out of the shit that I had to fold it in half basically to put it in the truck and the car. But it was never the same after that, you know. But there it is. So coming out of some weird ball. I think was supposed to glow, wrapped in barbed wire. What the? What's a embryonic? It looked like very much an anti-fertility symbolism, you know. It's probably because, you know, dudes at this age are too busy, you know, having unprotected sex to want to. They probably have a. I can understand the symbolism. Anyhow, so.
We brought this all the way from Antarctica. This iceberg weighs about half a ton.
Greta, she was in a band that was pretty big in the local scene, and she was with a girlfriend of Dewey Rao. And Dewey Rao became the first Flatus Maximus. In fact, I think he invented that name, Flatus Maximus. She looks embarrassed as shit. There's Scott Krall, the first. Well, he's one of the slaves, of course, and also GWAR, and became a GWAR artist. And that was the thing about this show, is it felt like half the audience would end up being involved in GWAR in one way or another. There's Ted Sanderson. He did a lot of early film work. at this stage with GWAR, and also helped financially support the band as well. There's Heather Broom. That was Hunter Jackson's girlfriend at the time, and she also played, I guess, the Huntress. I think that was the name of the character, but that more or less is the first GWAR woman. There is Michael Moore. He's the one who ended up owning the video of this, and yeah, I don't know. There's Chuck Varga, future Sexecutioner. As you can see, this is a montage edit. Just a short version, I guess, of the show put to one song. And there, of course, is Hunter Jackson. John Durham, who would appear in other GWAR videos, movies like Skullhead Face, Alice in Wonderland. So let me pull out of that for a second and go back to the chats. Just make sure I haven't missed any Rumble isn't working. Now it's back. Rumble's working now. Okay. Anywho, yeah, so did I miss any user not found? Thank you. Anybody else? Yeah, Rumble. I can't take contributions there. Good. So, back to the shoe. Let's see here. So I'm gonna leave this to later because this is the hello era. And I'm gonna go to the live show. The start of the live show. Rock and roll. John Durham, Heather Broom, Scott Crawl, Scott Wolf, future sound man for us. It's insane. How many people ended up in the working with GWAR in this audience? But I was in the audience as well, and I remember at the time, I just loved it. Everybody got it. You had to play along, basically. You know? That's what it was. It was like everybody just kind of coming together and mentally bonding on this illusion, you know, that this was some awesome heavy metal band. Oh my God. So the early stuff was made. This is just foam core, I think, that's cut and formed that way. But the rest of the stuff is it's sports equipment found at thrift stores, and then wood glue or paper mache, but mostly I think it was wood glue, strips of cloth and wood glue, you know, put over shapes and forms, you know. There's Chuck Varga, future executioner. I gotta tell you though, you know, at the time, what made this so, what made it edgy, crappy as it is, was that it was kind of like a slap in the face. Punk was starting to come off the rails at this point. This is 85. And, you know, Black Flag broke up shortly after this, and I think Minor Threat had converted to Fugazi, or if they hadn't already, they're about to, you know. And then the bands that were more metal influenced, like, you know, Suicidal Tendencies and, you know, DRI and Agnostic Front and stuff like that, and the Cro-Mags. We're all starting to, you know, starting to come to the fore. And, you know, this is really just a punk rock attempt to do cock rock, you know, and make fun of it. It was making fun of the punk rock scene just as much or more than it was making fun of the metal, I think, you know. And because look at the context it's appearing in. It was a shitty little club, you know. That's punk. This is what if you had a stadium show inside a 150, you know, 150 seat club. That would be like this, right? What if you did it overnight? What if you did, it was DYI, you know, the thing. So anyhow, and there's that was Dave's idea, the AEIOU, and Satanism. It didn't last long, the whole Satan thing. Until he came back with Jucifer, you know, explored it in the Beyond Hell album and tour. So the lead singer, Ben Eubank, didn't stay on much longer. I think he might have done one other show, and he quit mid-show. Just stopped, just went off stage, and then just was shedding stuff. And I had my chance. Dave asked me if I wanted to be lead singer, and I had no confidence to do it because I didn't know any of the words to the songs. You know, I hadn't really been around it long enough. And yeah. That's right, I could have been the lead singer. Glad I wasn't. Anyhow, so he just stormed off mid-stage at a show, I think it was called Rockets at the time, which was another club. And so Dave took over as lead singer. And then this guy, Joey Anaroma, stepped in and became the lead singer after that. And I think he only did a few shows. And then Dave and Joey didn't get along, I think, basically. And so, nice camera work there, Mike Moore. Dave and Joey didn't get along. I think it was basically they were both the alpha males, two alpha males, you know, bumping into each other. Sorry about that. You know, the scroll bar and all that. And so, and then finally, I think by '86, Dave took over as lead singer. And that's the way it stayed until he died, of course. Everybody's laughing. Everybody gets it. You know? Everybody thinks it's hilarious. There's Richard Bland. He's one of the well-known art scenesters at the time. I used to go over to parties at his place, and he is the ultimate art scenester, man. His house was incredible on the inside. Always scamming on young girls, as you can see right now. Like, he's in his 30s. He's probably left over from the old VCU RPI days. So, you know. And of course, you got to figure, right? At the time, this kind of videotape is, I don't know, 240? It's like half of 480. Not even standard def. I could be wrong. It was shot on VHS or Beta, one or the other. Yeah, Michael Moore. Way to give us those down shirt. He liked the ladies. He definitely liked the ladies. I think for this show, I'm going to create a separate, maybe I should create a separate Rumble channel. Because I think this is kind of confusing. Maybe I should do it for Twitch as well. I don't know. Maybe not. Look at that. Fiberglass medallion. You get chain cast through it. It's definitely a Hunter Jackson sculpt. But it's broken already, as they always do. This thing's always broke. The chain held it all together. And now the guitar tuning. There's Greg Ottinger. He would become guitarist. That face to the far right. Yeah, there he is. That's Greg Ottinger, giving us that side face. There's Jim Thompson to become the drummer. He'd be the next drummer of GWAR. God. Endless. What else can you do? So you can see it's got hockey helmets. Fun for early days. Hunter liked to put feathers in things, but we soon learned that feathers don't do well, especially when he started splashing corn syrup everywhere. We got rid of corn syrup real quick too, and we switched over to carrageenan base blood because corn syrup will destroy pickups, make your instruments unplayable. Even Dave is embarrassed. Oh man. You have to insult your audience. It's the money. You can see it formulating right here. A big part of the whole GWAR mythos is it being, you know, a band just manipulated with cocaine addiction. And of course, you're taking the irony of how that would play into Dave and other people, you know, within the organization and their drug problems, shall we say. God, get on with it. I see. Boy, that seemed like that happened a lot in the early days. Steve Douglas. That's his amp. I can't believe how much of this show is just nothing.
Is going to buy Scratch's comic books. They're here for sale tonight. Richmond artists at their prime, in their peak. For so cheap, this could be worth a lot of money one day. That's what y'all care about. Anything like us. So anyway, buy one of these things.
Pitch in Scratch's Comics, which was publishing a lot of Hunter Jackson's work. He was one of the heavy contributing comic artists to Scratch's.
With this free-form jazz instrumental song. It's a new kind of thing. 1, 2, 3.
God, look at this. I'll get you for this. That's me. I'm throwing my fist forward. As you can see me in the background. I haven't changed a bit. The guy pumping his fist in the air. Mike, I don't think I like it. And Ariel, ha ha ha, I'm trying to get down your shirt. What a creep.
Now I'm going to play another chord.
That does sound horrible. Even one chord sounds horrible.
We'd like to take this opportunity to introduce the members of the band to you right now. First and foremost, undoubtedly the scourge of the Antarctic. This guy made it with every girl in town. He's so big, he's so bad, you don't know what you've had the morning and you know it was good. But it might not be 2 weeks from now. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only Johnny Slutman! So Johnny, heard you just got in from Cleveland. Things pretty hot up there, aren't they? Yeah!
At this point, I guess people really didn't expect to hear a band.
Things are pretty hot up there, aren't they?
I just figured they were in for a stand-up improvisational comedy performance.
So Johnny, heard you just got in from... Where'd you just get in from, Johnny? Yeah! I think we've almost got the problem solved, ladies and gentlemen. And we're going to play that first song again because it was so bad.
Yeah. I can't believe he sold it like this. Honestly, I guess if he didn't leave all this in, the video would have been 12 minutes or something like that. I'm guessing it's probably, yeah, 6 2-minute songs. Or 4 3-minute songs. Probably more like it. At this point, there was no blood. Blood had not been introduced into the show yet. We did blood one time before this, and it was a disaster. It got us banned from the 930 Club, and that was the show we did with Suicidal Tendencies, where Chris Bopst just borrowed their bass without asking, and they got pissed about that. Suicidal Tendencies got pissed about it. There I am, right there. You can see me. The Scott Crawl brought out this hobby horse that was full of Caro syrup that we were supposed to sacrifice. It was that was like the first GWAR scene we ever tried. And he ended up dumping the Caro syrup into brand new PAs that were stage PAs at the GWAR show, or at the 930 Club. And so, yeah. 930 hated us for that, right? That's what would be imagined, right? So I think we were banned for a year or so before we were popular enough where 930 Club wanted to have us. There's a lot to overcome. Fucking damaged $150 PA or whatever the hell it was. That was Rick Griggs. He would be an audio man for us. There's Chris Arias. He would work heavily on sets and design for Alice in Wonderland. I keep the cursor on this side so I can point them out. Guess I better not. And then the scroll bar comes back. You can tell that this music is very much an aping Kiss, you know, and if I remember the way it was conceptualized early on, I think more or less, you know, it was that Kiss rock, decadent rock lifestyle, you know, was the model of it. Yeah, my God. So they only played one song here. For some reason I thought it was longer. Fine. Got the point. We'll come back to this later. How far behind am I? Steve, thank you. Hey, Don, nice to see you. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Hope you're checking this out and you're learning from it. We got a lot to go through. I'll at least try to pull up, you know, a fair amount of pictures and show you the origin of GWAR. Brandon, thank you so much. I know you like the color purple. Damn right I do. Thanks, man. Hey, Sleazy, says Gnarly Coyote. How's it going, Gnarly? Noelez, cool stuff, Sleazy. Thanks for sharing. I'm not done yet. Wait till I get to the pictures. 930 Club was badass. I saw a lot of great shows there. Even though we were banned, I wasn't at least I wasn't banned as a patron, you know. So I lived in Northern Virginia and went to quite a few 930 shows at the time, and one of my best high school friends worked there, so he saw all kinds of kind of rock and roll history walking through those doors all the time. Yeah. Let's see here. Anywho, yeah, let's get into those pictures. Unfortunately, I think I might have to piss soon. Nice job. Nice job. Let's see here. Where should I go first? I'll just pop over to the dairy because that'll help explain kind of how this came together. So the dairy had been around since the 20s. I don't know why I haven't made this bigger. There we go. See, it's blurring out. So this is a building that was in fact a dairy in Richmond back in the, I think it was built in the 20s. And it basically when I don't know when it stopped functioning as a dairy, but it had these, it was pretty cool looking because it had these three dairy bottles on the corners. It had dairy bottles here, and then one to the right, and then one over on the other left corner. There was none in the back, and it was really weird because it was four buildings that grew together. And yeah, if you ever lived there, which, you know, I ended up doing, it was hard to navigate because it was just kind of real randomly put together. And so it was kind of easy to get lost in there, especially if you hadn't spent much time in there. But, let's see here. So it was abandoned. You can see this is what it looked like later when it got converted into artist space, basically. Somebody bought it, and then I think they were wanting to emulate the Torpedo Factory in Washington, D.C., which was kind of an artist co-op space. And then I guess whatever, I think it was sold, or they wanted to convert it to like luxury apartments or something. That was later on. It happened pretty quickly, actually, within a few years, 2-3 years after it started getting used as artist space. But anyways, early on it was rented out as artist space. And Hunter got a space there, I think in '84. And he started to build a movie set. He was going to do this movie called Scumdogs of the Universe. And he found a part of the dairy that lent itself well to like some sort of Star Trek like interior of a ship, you know, that he was going to have as part of his movie, where he was going to set his movie. And Dave Brocky rented a space in there, as other bands did. Death Piggy was practicing in there. And so, you know, Dave would come by. People were all visiting each other and seeing what each other were up to. And so Dave came in and he visited Hunter's space. And after he saw the costumes, he realized that, hey, what if we were able to, you know, use these costumes on stage? And so he got the brainstorming idea of having Death Piggy do it, put them on, at least initially. And I think Hunter liked some of Dave's music and wanted to use music in part of his soundtrack in his movie. So, you know, I think they were both like seeing something in each other that they could use that could help them with their project. So, you know, Hunter being about the movie, and Dave it being about the stage show, right? And that would create a conflict later on, sort of, because they were both kind of had different concepts about what it was all about. As the band took off and became more and more popular, Dave, gee, was it? This is the Rumble chat. Let me get back to the, where's my YouTube chat? There it is. Dave, you know, kind of became more controlling. He was able to exert more control because, you know, he was the liaison to the music by bringing in other musicians, and you know, at the same time he was an artist, so he was conceptualizing it as well. How is Tesla doing? Says Ross Ferguson. Ross, oh, it's good to see you there. Sorry for interrupting you watching any of the YouTube comments. Yeah, Tesla disappeared. I thought I told you. Maybe I didn't. Yeah, Tesla. I think the coyotes got him. That's it. So we got another cat, indoor cat. Only an indoor cat. No outdoor cat. And this cat's driving me nuts. Because he's only, you know, he's a teenager. He's under a year. It's a she, actually. I think she's in heat. I think she just went into heat. She's acting completely crazy and obnoxious. Just walking around yowling all the time. Anyways. Where was I? So, Yeah, I got both of those up. So let's take a look around inside the dairy. I guess I could scroll this way. This is the upstairs, the roof of the dairy after a new roof had been put up. And boy, did it need it. A lot of people's, you can see all the water damage. A lot of people, if they had an upper floor space, they would get, it would destroy the roof. It would come through and rain on their furniture or artwork. Yeah, it would flood. It would flood. Here's some cool pictures. So this is Colette. This is the first, I guess the second GWAR woman. This is Greg Ottinger's girlfriend, Jenna. I forgot her last name. They married, but she's also was one of the nuns, the nuns of sin in the Cardinal Sin video. This is Mike Bonner. Mike Bonner, the first slave, and GWAR artist, sculptor. Yeah. Let's see here. 3 hipsters on the roof. Another band shooting. There's tons of bands in there. I trying to, you know, come up with urban type photos. These are awful, unfortunately. But random urban decay. Let's get some cool angsty pictures of some artsy band. I don't know who they were. There's the dairy at its earliest days. You can see. Look at all that crazy. Look how many wires there were, man. God damn. A lot of wires back then. Here's a practice space. Drums are covered inside the dairy. More of this. Here's Heather. This is Mike Bonner's wife, Heather. Another Heather, different Heather, and her sister. I tell you, it's a small world. Everything is related. Some junky room. I think it was underneath. It was a garage area. It was like a garage where the vehicles would pull up. You can't see that, but it's like in here. The roof again after it's been retopped off. Here's the work being done at the time. This is where they were starting to refurbish it. And that was when we had to start moving out. Yeah, see, they got repainted the bottles and everything's all nice. Yeah. Plastic African. Thank you very much. Rant, it says. You want me to rant? I'm not ranting. This is my history channel, my GWAR history channel. So, anyhow, just some skylight shots here. Okay, yeah. So there's the dairy. I think that kind of sums it up. I thought I had this page open already. Okay. So what is this, early Brocky? This is some of Brocky's art. We'll get back to that when we talk more about Brocky specifically. Here is Death Piggy. So this was the progenitor of GWAR. And that was their logo. Little pig with a fang sticking out on one side. Yeah, that was the Death Piggy. Definitely shows off their irreverent, you know, their irreverent punk style. Did I just close out my son of a bitch? I'm gonna go back into the So here's Hunter. This is Hunter's art. There's Hunter right there. And he was a very interesting character because he was from Central Virginia, unlike everybody else who was kind of like, you know, suburban kids, middle class suburban kids from Northern Virginia and whatnot. He was from, Fluvanna or whatever, wherever, I can't remember where he grew up on a correctional center though, prison. It was a work prison, work release. I think it was mostly like kind of a work prison where you did outdoor farm stuff. He you know, he was kind of a loner, but he had a real vivid imagination, I guess, in a way because of it. He developed that because he, one of our earliest t-shirt design, that's a Hunter special right there, gotta love it. So here's some of his art. It's always very, you know, you can see the Japanese manga influence for sure. But always was really gory, you know. Very sexual and gory. It was always very underground, you know. Here's one of the characters. This is where I first started paying attention to him. The local newspaper used to put out comics, print comics, and this was his guy right here. Oh, what's his name? Yeah, Les Spivey, which as I came to think about it, was probably this guy in the punk scene who, yeah, he was Doug Doby. I'm sure it's him. It's not only did it look like him, he had the perfectly coiffed hair, you know, that really was more kind of rockabilly than it was punk rock. But yeah, he thought he was God's gift to the scene at the time. And this guy Les Spivey, I think, is very much a commentary on him. But yeah, it was a good artist, very good artist. And yeah, to tell you the truth, I think in some ways that both Hunter Jackson and Dave Brockie were better artists, comic artists, than anything else they did during the course of their life. I'm sure some people would argue with me and say, well, no, Dave was a really great lead singer. And I agree, but I wonder if he'd have focused on just comics, that he might have, I don't know, maybe done better financially, maybe not. I think anything he would have done better financially than doing GWAR, but that's what it wasn't about. So, you know, as far as impact, I think being lead singer of GWAR was his greatest contribution. See here now. I don't know what this says. Here's another guy. This folder's empty. Really? That's a bummer. Dumpster diving. Flood zone. There's some shots of the group, I guess. Early shots of the group. It's always changing. I think there's people in costume here who weren't even in the band. I just kind of needed people to fill it out. Like this guy right here. Can't remember who that is. Maybe that's Jim Thompson. This is Joey Anaroma right here. He was the one that didn't last as a lead singer because he was conflicted with Dave. This is Mike Delaney, and his influence was starting to be felt at this point. He's created a character. It's called the Sultan of Sin, and basically found a road cone, you know, modified it. with this sort of stuff. And later on, Hunter will take that character, Sultan of Sin, and turn it into Cardinal Sin, and turn it into part of his sin, whatever you want to call it, sin civilization, into the mythos, right? But originally, the Sultan of Sin was kind of he's more of a statement on the lifestyle that Mike Delaney and Chuck Varga were living. And this is the era when stuff was during the summer of '86, where the swamp had risen, and the slave pit was losing influence. The slave pit was kind of, Hunter wasn't as into the TV, or excuse me, Hunter wasn't as into the band idea as Mike Delaney and Chuck Varga were. And Chuck Varga was originally one of the collaborators on the Scumdogs movie, and he had moved into the dairy, and he was living with Mike Delaney, and they created this place called the Swamp. And the whole thing started to take on more of, let's see, just bring this other shot up. There's so many things. So there's Colette again. I'm assuming that's Delaney. There's Bonner. Right. I think this guy is named Corbett or whatever. But he would write a few crucial licks for GWAR early on, and just didn't leave the band. It wasn't even in it hardly. It wasn't in there hardly at all. It was crazy. But, you know, he put the basis to a few good songs like You Ain't Shit Till You Learn How to Rock, I think, and a few others. Mahalo. 321. Thank you, man. Appreciate it. Moving on. Let's see what here. Did I go show Hunter? I did. I thought it might be more Hunter. So, Slave Pit. Here we go. This is the first, where it first started happening. And this is I think this is in Hunter's workspace. Not the swamp. I will show you the swamp, hopefully, here soon. Here's Hunter working away. He's making the Antarctic Ant, which would make its appearance in a show with Joey Anaroma, where Joey Anaroma is on video beating the shit out of that thing, man. Joey Anaroma did not pull his punches. He didn't know how. So there's Hunter. Looking surprised. Looks like he's eating some French fries, digging down to those last few golden fries. There's Dave. It's funny, because you can kind of feel the tension right between these three. You know? You can definitely feel the tension. I'm sure Hunter's already suspicious that his great idea is going to be stolen from him. Because that's kind of the way he was always worried about stuff like that, you know. And I guess in a way he was right. It did get stolen from him. But there's Dave. He's probably more. It's tense between him and Anaroma, Joey Anaroma. Here's Chuck Varga, and that's the body for the Antarctic ant they're putting together. Look at this, man. Seat cushions just carved up at random. Just hit them with some spray paint, man. There's Joey Anaroma in the back. There's Chuck Varga, right? There's me. I'm not doing nothing. What do you know? Guess I should have blown those other pictures up. It looked like I'm a fuck up, but I have the dust mask on, so I must have been doing something. Anyhow, damn it. I didn't want to do that. Yeah, oh, okay, I skipped some stuff. There we go. Here's a first early incarnation of the Techno Destructo costume that Hunter's working on, I would say. That's what it looks like, yeah. Backpack and all that. Here is the framing that was for the Scumdogs movie. So these things were supposed to be some sort of pistons. He was going to have them coming in and out, you know, like that was some sort of engine, you know. Yeah. I don't know exactly how that was supposed to work, but that was the plan. Once again, the dairy. I already showed those. Here's a picture when the studio, you can't see shit here, but this is from a magazine, Throttle, so it's newsprint. That's me. That's Steve Douglas. That's Neon Charlie, who was a collaborator. And this is when we had to pack the entire slave pit into my studio space, which was suddenly now we were working in essentially what was, I would say, a 20 by 30 room. Yeah. It was right before we would end up, you know, moving out completely. Did I go through all that? Let me find. So you can see some close-up. I don't know why I can't scan through these. I can't slide through these easier. So there's the Techno Destructo arm being built. Here's the cage that he built to protect his stuff. There's some thievery going on at the dairy. It happened to me. I lost a bunch of great stuff, some really expensive stuff. I lost a nice camera, a Super 8 camera, among other things, to the thievery that was going on. But he put over here, you can't see it because it's the backside, but here's the door, and on that gate, door, whatever, it says the infamous words of "Don't talk about it, do it," which was Hunter's battle cry against it. I guess dilettantism, you know. Yeah, another shot. This is the plungers there for these pistons that were had been little details added, but that was as far as it got. That was pretty much as far as it got. I don't think much else was done. The swamp had more or less taken over. You know, like the swamp had all the enthusiasm. You know, that's what happened. Everybody is more, you know, because the thing was that, you know, a movie was this nebulous, very grandiose and hard to reach idea that was months and months, if not years down the road, you know, from happening. Whereas, you know, slap something together for this next GWAR show and you get to be on stage. Yay! You know, I mean, it was much more of a payoff for the artists. Much more of a payoff, right? So here's where it started to go, right? Hunter, Mike Delaney, the executioner, and Chuck Varga got a space called the Swamp, and it was a much bigger room. So now suddenly there's room to start doing all kinds of big props. Here is Hunter working on this giant Gorgor, you know, character, this giant dinosaur. Here's this weird kind of Big Daddy Roth influenced Sin Chariot, I guess is what it was called. But this is what Cardinal Sin Chariot. These are, you know, these big missiles that were used in a show. I forgot what it was. I think it was Soviet Union versus the United States comparing their dick size, I think was the way the show opened, something like that. Here's, I think this was Hunter's dog at the time. I think him and Heather had it. I think she ended up with it. Cute dog. So there's another shot of that stuff being made. Dave Muscle was building this with Mike Delaney. So, yeah, Dave Muscle showed himself to be a pretty good fabricator. In fact, really, he was the best. Early on, he was the best fabricator we had. Somebody's girlfriend, I guess. But anyway, she's hanging out in this place that was called the Den of Sin. So Chuck and Mike Delaney had this. It was adjacent to that big room you just saw where everybody was working. This was adjacent to that. And, yeah, they had some, as described, a post-apocalyptic, you know, bachelor pad. This way it was kind of what it felt like. And, yeah. I think they hoped there would be more inequity in that den than there really was. But, you know, guys can dream, I think. So, yeah. Here, for instance. So when I blow this up, do I lose my bottom? Yeah, I do. Okay, I got to shrink it back up to see that shit. This was for the Schaefer Court Show. And this was a giant jet engine. The show involved terrorists blowing up a jet airplane, and parts of it were supposed to come down and hit somebody on stage. And it worked flawlessly, considering we had no way of rehearsing it. It was on this giant cable, and it came down over the audience and smashed into this person on stage. I was amazed. You know, I think back on it, it was stupid. That thing would have, you know, fallen into the audience. Could have killed somebody. It was high enough off the ground, enough weight, you know, hit somebody on the neck. You could see somebody definitely getting injured. Okay, we saw that already. Just random costume pieces. Here's Mike Delaney with another dairy dweller and artist, Ralph Fleming. I used to love his art. He had a really interesting way of working. He'd go under old billboards around the city, and when they clear the billboard off of the old thing, they would just scrape the old advertisement, which was paper, off, and a lot of it would just fall on the ground. They didn't bother picking it up. And so when you take say photography that's blown up at that size, and you find the scraps from it, it's got these huge, you know, pixel dots, you know, so blown up when put into a canvas on the wall looks really interesting, completely different. It was really neat. Just a side note there. There's the Den of Sin. He finally, Neon Charlie probably, he did a custom sign for him because he worked with Neon. And I was supposed to get the chicks, I guess. I don't know if it did or not. Let's see here. This is after a scene we shot for the Ted Sanderson movie. And there was supposed to be some giant banquet with GWAR at the head of the table. This is Heather Broom. Not Heather Broom. Is it Heather Broom? Yeah, I think so. Hunter's girlfriend, and also known as the Huntress. Let's see here. Whoops, went backwards. This is a good shot of Chuck thinking he's suave in the Den of Sin right there. I can't remember these, Randy Collins and somebody else. I can't remember who the guys are. They're friends of his from Charlottesville. There was a crew from Charlottesville. It was known as the Mental Hygiene League. And in a way, they're the seed of GWAR more than any others. It's because it came out of the Mental Hygiene League. This was Hunter Jackson. Hunter Jackson's contingent of friends from Charlottesville. And yeah, there's Hunter and Dave in the Den of Sin posing. This is the swamp. It looks like work area. This is Hunter in somebody else's space, I think, judging by the stereo and the relatively clean walls and space around him. I'm thinking that's not his space. I don't remember him ever having something like that. Oh, okay, yeah. Okay, it's at the Den of Sin. And there I am. I'm in my black suit. I'm in my Reservoir Dogs suit before Reservoir Dogs was cool. Before it was a thing. There's Mike Delaney. He's obviously showing me something he's quite proud of. Some conceptual design. So you've got Hunter Jackson, Mike Bonner. Here, incidentally, is one of the few pictures of Bob the Slob. Also, basically, he's the original Bohab. In case anybody wants to know where that name comes from. I've told the story a few times, but people called him Bob the Slob, and by accident, I called him Bob the Slob to his face because I thought that was just what he was, what people called him. It was his real name. And Hunter told me, "No, man, don't call him that. It hurts his feelings, you know." And Dave Muscle overheard that, and so he started calling him Boab the Slowab, as if to disguise Bob the Slob, you know, like some sort of combination of that Ahab the Arab song and you know, Pig Latin, I guess. And so then Chuck Varga took that. He just coined it. He just wouldn't let the word Bohab go, and it became the term for somebody who, you know, is socially awkward, basically, you know. Somebody who talks your ear off and doesn't. He's the last person to realize he's lost the room. It's typical, you know. Doesn't know. He's everybody, you know. People are all making excuses to wander away from the conversation. He's still talking about solar babies and Jiffy Lube. Those were two things that he was notorious for going on about. 80s flashbacks. I'm afraid so. This is all this is. 80s flashbacks. There. Now I know how to do this. Dave Muscle working away on the Chariot of Sin right there. There he is again. Very talented artist. He's a graduate artist. He came from Iowa. And he was in the sculpture graduate school. This is Chuck Varga is putting in some tunes, I guess. He's going to start blasting some tunes. A lot of ZZ Top. A lot of cock rock. We were into a fair amount of that was playing. We liked a lot of cock rock and new wave, both. So it could be Aerosmith, Toys in the Attic, or Kiss, or it could be Devo. You know, it was like kind of those. It was split down the middle, more or less. There he is again, Chuck Varga, working away, working on the box. Well, Hunter, Dave Muscle's working on something. Same thing. Same thing. There's Mike Delaney from behind. Yeah. Dave Muscle. There's a good shot of Mike Delaney. A lot of character. And he was a total character. As most of them were. They were all over-the-top personalities, really. Dave wasn't the only one in that regard. Mike Delaney played a major part in whipping together the core group of artists that would become Slave Pit. He got me into the dairy working on stuff. He got Chuck Varga. No, excuse me, I'm sorry. Hunter Jackson got him in. But Mike Delaney also got Dave Muscle into the dairy working on stuff. And those two would play, a very important part. And he was in the VCU sculpture department. So his Muscle was in the sculpture department, and Delaney was in the sculpture department. And when I had sculpture classes, I got to know Delaney through them. So although I was a painting major like Dave, we were both fine arts painting and printmaking majors, and the rest of the guys were sculpture majors, with the exception of Hunter. Hunter was commercial arts, surprisingly, which he was a good artist, and you had to be good to get through this commercial art department at VCU. But it's not what he wanted to do, that's for sure. Alex Valentine, thank you. Love you, Don. Much appreciated. Great documentary. This is at 9/11. I'm glad. I hope you like it. I hope it's not too boring. I hope it's not overly detailed. I really do. But, I want to get through the basics tonight, sort of like the original origin. And hopefully, people can watch this and catch up as the show, as I do more of these, right? Because I'll be going through lots of shows, a lot of different performances and things, including Phallus and Skull Head Face, and giving you basically inside baseball on all of that stuff, right? This girl, she was in a GWAR show. I can't remember her name. She was one of the terrorists. She was also Chuck Varga's girlfriend for a little while. Here she is with Guy Kurtz. Guy Kurtz was another one of the Mental Hygiene League. There's Chuck. There's a bunch of people gathered around working on something. Guy Kurtz, Bob the Slob, Mike Delaney, Neon Charlie. Let's see here. Here's me with Mike Delaney, and I guess Neon Charlie. Oh no, there's Mike Bonner. Probably me and Mike Bonner probably arguing already about something. I wouldn't be surprised. We bumped heads quite a bit. Yeah. So Mike Bonner, the first slave. There's me again. What have I got? A beer? Looks like I got a beer. I'm happy. I got a beer. Looks like we're all feeling pretty good. And that's the way it worked. It was party while you work and work while you party. In kind of way, I've never been able to lose that mentality since these days. Kind of became the way I was. Like I never party too hard because I'm always working. And I never work too hard because I'm always partying. It's just one and the same, Never lose control of either. Just do simultaneously. Let's see here. Where am I? Down here. Just more inside the swamp. There they are, the guys. They're probably watching a good video, I'm guessing, on the TV up above. Looks like. Same shots. Me with the Sultan of Sin helmet on, right? It's not Cardinal Sin yet. Is that the end of that? Yeah, that's pretty much it. That's it. So, getting back to the point of what I just showed you, you can see how much more space there was, and you could see where there was more enthusiasm. There was just more going on over there. Whereas Hunter was telling people exactly what to do for his movie, because he had specific ideas going on. What was going on in the swamp was Dave and the rest of these guys going, hey, what if we did this? Hey, what if we did that for the next show? And like I said, you get the gratification of your work being seen in a few weeks, as opposed to way down the road, maybe with a movie. And you know, to get a bunch of artists to contribute, you have to you've got to, you know, let them put their 2 cents worth. You know, you gotta let them put their 2 cents worth in, and that wasn't really possible with Hunter's project as a movie, but it was possible with the with the swamp, and how it was creating stuff for the live show, the live shows. That's what I meant to say. Let's go in here into Schaefer Court. Here we go. So Schaefer Court, this is Mikey Rodriguez. He's a member of White Cross. Look at that primitive old smoke gun. Yeah, we stole a couple of musicians from the White Cross. We got Rob Mosby and Dewey Rowell, both came over from White Cross. So this was an outdoor show, and it really is one of the best shows to this day I've ever been part of. Yeah, I get it. Like the props and all that, it's all very primitive, but there was a bunch of extra stuff going on. We had big monsters. We had the giant airplane engine. We had this character. He was the Watcher, and that was Neon Charlie. And all his bit was to sit in this chair with a neon helmet on, and neon behind him. He just sat up there and watched the show. But this was Halloween 1986, and a truckload of acid came into Richmond just in time for this show. And it felt like basically everybody in the audience was dosed. And if they weren't dosed for the show, they were dosed shortly afterwards. The parties that were all over the neighborhood that night after the show were legendary, including the Dave Brocky's apartment, where he had the Heaven, Hell, and Purgatory parties, which was 3 floors of an apartment complex, and each floor was decorated to represent those 3 things: Heaven, Hell, and Purgatory. And I'll never forget being going up the stairs, and this one girl obviously was having a bad trip, and she had her head buried in the back of her friend's shirt, just going, you know, I don't want to be here. Oh, I'm scared. Oh, I'm scared. She's like, just flipping out. It's just the acid talking, basically. But man, it was a legendary night, and everything worked. Even though it was all primitive, everything worked. You know, the jet engine and the giant meat grinder. Let's see. There's me. This is my first incarnation of Sleazy P. Martini. I just went out and got the most hideous plaid jacket I could get, and the most hideous plaid pants I could get. Deliberately making sure they're completely mismatching. A hideous kind of, I don't know, polyester shirt. You can see I've got the dark eyebrows, right, and the greased up hair. So basically, the overall concept had started there, right? And I changed the name to Sleazy from Sluggo. And the plot line was that I held up this corpse that was made by Dave, and it was Sluggo P. Martini's corpse. And I accused him of having killed my brother, and that I was in control of the band now. I was the new manager. And there's that's great costume there. Long underwear, white long underwear. It was cold. A lot of guys managed to stay in character and not wear shirts, but it was cold. I was glad I didn't have to be out there with no shirt on. There's Chris Bopes. Now he's got the jaws of death on. Colette. Dave, that was one of my first weapons I made, the big hammer. I was proud of that. There's the terrorists. They come out on stage. Here is the cockroach. So this was kind of a seminal piece. Oh man, I gotta go backwards. How do I get out of this now? Fuck me. No, really? Would you know it? There we go. So this was kind of a seminal piece because up until this point, we were making the props with cloth and glue. And because we were about to start spewing, one of the things we found out while we started spewing blood was that cloth and glue loosens and dissolves when it's wet. So if we were going to spew blood, we couldn't use cloth and glue anymore. And this costume was made with foam rubber and latex with a fiberglass head, right? But yeah, it was called the Chernobyl cockroach, and this is before it was painted. You can see the patterns of these scrap bed sheets, you know, pieces of scrap bed sheet used to cover this thing, right? But that was my first real costume design, complete, you know, and it was for this show. And that became the way we did basically all costumes from then on, just because it was the only kind of way we could figure out to make a costume that was relatively safe to bump into, you know, fight with, and also would withstand the constant, you know, water, blood, and all that effect. So, you know, water's a solvent. Let's see here. Where is that? Dave, triumphant. I think the smoke, that smoke is from the fire extinguisher. Interesting note about that. When they kill me, and it's supposed to be this big can of Raid, the assumption was it was a CO2 extinguisher. And it was not. It was it was one of your, is it Class B? Whatever. It's a chemical extinguisher, not a CO2 extinguisher. And so, you know, there's me holding up Slug OP Martini's corpse. There's Colette being cute. Where am I? They're rocking out, doing drugs. That's me. That's Colette. Where am I? I'm going backwards. Fuck. Here's somebody, just some crazy artist, you know, at Schaefer Court in costume. There's Hunter Jackson. Hunter Jackson's Techno-Destructo. He's been defeated. He's been collared and hogtied. Look, there's Brad Pitt. Bet you didn't know he was a VCU student. Yeah, it's true. Brad Pitt, and I don't know who else. More VCU costumes. That's the infamous Donnie Dirt Woman. She was a character, much of unto herself. There's a whole documentary about her you can see out there. I forget where, Amazon or something put it out. More Dave strutting. There's the terrorist, Jenna, Greg Ottinger's girlfriend. Is this? Here's prep for the show beforehand. We start early. There's the jet engine. Look at it. Look how high it is. This thing had been up here and fallen down below into the crowd. You know somebody would have died. Even if it is made out of mostly, you know, cardboard and foam. It's a lot. It's big. It probably weighed a lot. There it is on the ground. You can see the scale of it. Yeah, you can see the scale of it. There's me standing next to it. So yeah, it's on this cable, but the cable hasn't been raised yet. This is pre-show prep. And it was a lot. We started early. Me again. Walking around this thing, getting ready to put it up. Here is, in the dairy, we got one of the larger spaces, and so we did a run-through. We did a run-through without costumes. And this is pretty much, I don't know if we did a couple of non-costume run-throughs and then a few in costume. Yeah, we did a few in costume. There's the raid can, the infamous raid can. I'm posing next to it. And like I said, filled with chemical. It was a chemical extinguisher, and I got it right in the face while I was in that character's. I was in the cockroach costume. I got it right in the fucking face, man. There's Bob the Slob. There's the terrorist that blows up the airplane. It made no sense. It's like, wait a second. He blows up the airplane, but the dynamite's on his back. How does that work? It's just so stupid. Some Hunter Jackson crazy over the top type guns. Here's terrorists. They come on stage. They storm the stage and they take over. Here's Hunter Jackson, Chuck Varga. He's GWAR. And here's us running through the battle. I'm not even painted. And I'm in the cockroach costume over here. And you can see him. He's in the GWAR costume. And for some reason we went at it kind of hard, and it got touchy. It got touchy, and it almost looked like there was a fight was going to break out. Here's Colette. She's bringing out the fire extinguisher. Bringing out the fire extinguisher. She's about to blast it, but she doesn't actually do it because we only had one extinguisher. Once again, if we'd have done it in a rehearsal space, then I would have found out, oh, it's chemical extinguisher. Yeah, there I am. Getting ready. There's more of that fight going on. Yeah. There's a bunch of those shots. Cool. And let's see, more battle with Hunter as Technostructo. There he is, captured. Right. Kind of more of the same. Jump ahead a little bit. Saw a lot of that on stage. There's a bit that we would always do. Did quite a bit on stage, and that was a GWAR cereal. For some reason, Colette would be the one who would pitch GWAR cereal. That was our idea of a rock band selling out. I think that was kind of a Dave Colette kind of collaboration there. Colette being Dave's girlfriend at the time, as if I didn't explain that already. That's why she was the GWAR woman. I could blow these up, but no point. You get the idea. Just more chaos, drugs, GWAR cereal. Here's the meat grinder. Dave Muscle built this. That was pretty spectacular. Look at this costume, for fuck's sake. No rhyme or reason. There's Dave Muscle. He's the Duke of Dogma. He is a sidekick of Cardinal Sin. I think Sultan of Sin had switched to Cardinal Sin at this point. And then the whole baby thing has been, motif has been incorporated into the Cardinal Sin mythos. More of these guys. More fighting. Moving along. There's the first saw. The first buzzsaw right there. That was a Cardinal Sin weapon. Yeah, I meant to go see it there. Can't see anything else really very well. But that's part of the costume, and that saw right there. Cardinal Sin confronting Dave. There's a hellacious battle on stage. There's Cardinal Sin and Duke of Dogma side by side in costume. More of that. There's Jim Thompson, the Alternatives, practicing. Here's just some lonely, here's a read-through. Before all that happened, we just walked, stand around and had some scripts and we read through it. Nobody remembered their lines. Once the show started, everybody just forgot everything practically, including this whole, you know, this a terrorist attack. The girl, I think she was Nas. I forgot. I can't remember her name, but she was called Nas. But anyway, she came on, and it was the lefties. The terrorist group was the leftist Lebanese lesbians, and we had a Middle Eastern girl for some reason was perfectly okay with playing the leader of it. She didn't have a problem with it, but she didn't remember her lines at all, and so. You know, she was reading off a piece of paper while on stage, you know, for the show. It's fucking hilarious. I don't know why, that made it funnier to me, you know, like the terrorists that can't remember what they're supposed to be saying. So this is Uncle Nobby, a reoccurring character in Death Piggy shows, and he was the character that gets killed by the jet engine that comes flying down. You know, it's just part of that random humor. I don't remember, but I think GWAR was challenging Cardinal Sin. If you're so holy, can you cure him or something like that? And it was just so fucking absurd and random, especially when you got Dave Brocky involved. You got Dave Brocky involved, and you got a whole shit ton of other people sticking in their ideas. And that's another thing that probably should be emphasized early on, was that there was no one person coming up with all the ideas. Dave drove a lot of it, Hunter drove a lot of it, and then a lot of other people were sticking their stuff in there too. All right. Let's see here. I got the. Did I lose track of my? Let's see my my Rumble chat. I haven't been over there. What happened to Rumble chat? There we go. Don't Darko jet engine. Yeah, Donnie Darko, says Bevel Blade. It does remind me of that. It does remind me of that. The whole randomness of the jet engine. He stole his idea from me. It wasn't my idea. I think that was a Chuck Varga, more or less a kind of a Chuck Varga. What's the other guy who I mentioned? It was definitely a mental hygiene idea sketch. Yeah. All right, back. Here's the flyer for the show. That's why we started off. I drew this. This is the first time I did some graphics. Got a good, graphic project with GWAR. And this lettering right here, these bolts, that would go on to become a common design, sort of a design for GWAR lettering. Variations on that. But yeah, this is my depiction of typical VCU students here. You can see this guy. He's got the flat top and the earring. He's got his VCU shirt on. This guy's getting his head chopped in half by Colette, and this guy's getting brain. For some reason, I love to not see brains flying out of skulls. It's all about decaps and brains coming out of the skulls for some reason. There's GWAR in the background. And, I guess Ballsack, but he wasn't called Ballsack at this point, I don't think. I don't know what he was called. I don't know when Ballsack's name first showed up. Feels like Ballsack showed up for the Hello era. Yeah. Let's see if there's anything else. I think I'll stop at that point. It's logical that I'll have gotten through most of the dairy days. Send money. What time is it? Yeah, it's almost 12. So this is a 2-hour stream so far. Yeah, Throwdown props. More of the same, kind of. What? That ain't right. Yeah, there we go. That's GWAR. So that was the first big monster we ever did. That was a Hunter Jackson design and concept, and it was very primitive. It was like it was difficult to be in. I did it, and we had no way for me to get off and on the stage during the show with it on. So I just sat in the corner at a show that was at. That was the one, I think, where Ben Eubank ran off. But I just had to hunch in the corner with a fan on my face. We had a little portable fan, I think, waiting for the whole show until the end where I come out and attack the band. And, yeah, I mean, you're in a small club, brutal summer, no AC. Yeah, everything, it seems like GWAR was always a endurance test, man. Always. But we did it, whatever it took. We loved it. It's like when I was first decap. It was brutal. Because I had foam around my head for about an hour. Cured my head cold. A really bad head cold. If you ever want to cure a bad head cold, just wrap yourself in like 12 inches of foam all around your head, and then put a big wool coat over that. Right, and then thrash around for a half an hour really hard, and it'll just break a cold. Just I've never experienced anything like it. After that was all done, I took it off, and the snot just went drained away, and suddenly it was completely clear. It was amazing. It was a revelation. It's just I burnt out that virus in a half an hour. Here's where we transitioned to, was our first real kind of like devoted slave pit. This was Dave Muscle set us up with this area, and this was at the tobacco warehouse. So we moved from the dairy to the tobacco. We finally got a space at the tobacco warehouse. None of us lived there. We lived in real apartments or whatever, real dwellings after that. But when we were at the dairy, we lived in the dairy. And that's why it kind of made it so special. It was like that feeling didn't come back until 2010 Chamberlain. We lived there too. Well, that's not true. A lot of us lived at 801 Broad too. That was the next space after this, kind of. Anyhow, close up of the famous Dave Muscle, Mike Delaney, Chariot of Sin. There's them. He's watching TV. He's probably the Philadelphia Eagles football game. Who knows? There's the next incarnation of Cardinal Sin and Duke of Dogma. Hunter Jackson working on something. So that's where we ended up after we got kicked out of the dairy. Yeah. Let's see if some Varga here is anything good. Just some Varga graphics. Yeah. Just some Varga graphics. Give you an idea of his style. He was very, I would say, kind of Basil Wolverton. Kind of Basil Wolverton-ish. Mad. And custom culture, obviously. You can see that influence right there. Right, that's one of his flyers. It's one of his graphics. Yeah, here we go. Typical right there. But I love that stuff too. You know. I did one of my T-shirt designs. I had to do an homage to Big Daddy Roth, just like that. Let's see here. There's a close-up. There's young Chuck Varga. Young Chuck. of his flyers. That's it. GBH show, circle jerks, verbal abuse. California hardcore, Mold Downies. God, there were so many places. So many clubs. Oh, that's in Charlottesville. There's a ton of clubs in Richmond. Ton of clubs in Richmond. All right, I'll wind it out by going to the chat. And I do want to thank all of you for the generous contributions tonight. I plan to do a lot of this. Well, I plan to do this on a regular basis. Some people were disappointed to see that Hikikomori was no longer Friday nights. What I plan to do is Thursday nights I will alternate 2 Hikikomoris a month and 2 Sleazy Pictures After Dark. I'll just alternate those on Thursday nights. Did you know you're also on Twitch tonight? Yeah. Luckily, I'm not supposed to because I think there's a exclusive. Twitch doesn't want you raising money on other channels at the same time. However, once this show is over, the Twitch one will go private. But you can always watch it on. You can always watch it on Kick and Rumble, and certainly on YouTube. I think YouTube would be the best place to go and watch it. Steve Martin, super cool, man. Loved every second of it. Thanks, Steve. Appreciate it. Appreciate it. So I'll probably go on from there and start talking about the Hello era. I'll find some stuff on that, and you know, I might jump around because I might just, you know, it's easy for me to just say react to, you know, Violence Has Arrived era live show because I've got 5 of those. Yeah, it's convenient, right? It's easier for me to run something the Hyperreal's already produced. Yeah, I'll jump around. I'll find live shows from all eras and give you all the inside baseball that I can on all aspects of GWAR, what was going on at the time. Let's face it, it's just that there was no way that hour and a half documentary is going to, you're not going to learn much from that. Really, very, very difficult to pack that in. Obviously, you probably learn more from just this 2 hours, you know, about the early days than anything else, you know, that you've seen. I'm just gonna go out on a limb and say that. But anyhow, I appreciate it. I appreciate your being here. Appreciate your support. Let me go through these Rumble chats. Make sure that mahalo, cool stuff. That I didn't miss anybody. Plastic African, Brandon Beard. Thank you. Steve D again. Yeah, user not found. Appreciate it. Appreciate the if you next shows. Contributions will be best given on Rumble. I'm going to have to remonetize the YouTube channel, but you can't beat the YouTube channel for exposure. So, you know, for reach, you can't beat it. So I haven't been there in a long time because, of course, I got the other show was kicked off there. So as long as I don't talk about vaccinations and elections, should be pretty safe on this channel with this subject matter. So thanks for being here, and I will see you next Friday and try to give you updates through the community notes on YouTube as the show progresses. All right, and maybe I'll hopefully get some production process videos going during the daytime that you can check out, and that'll be cool. Maybe like show you how to do some shit. Anyhow, thanks for being here, and I'll see you next Friday at 10 o'clock. Thanks. Bye. Friday at 10, Beveled Blade? Yes, Friday at 10. Gotta be regular. Gotta grind. Gotta stay on.